Hi Flosstube, welcome to Sound Mind Stitching. I'm Chelsea, excuse me. It is December 6th, 2024, and this is episode 28. I know, lots of times when people come up on their Flosstube, they say, oh, I meant to post, at a time sooner than now, and of course that's always the case with me. But I'm going to talk a little bit about it in a minute, but, this is a busy time of year. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I'm sure most of you, if you celebrate Christmas, are in the Christmas planning or whatever other holiday thing. Even if you don't celebrate, I don't know, there's just something in the air this time of year that feels a little bit hectic. We do celebrate Christmas, and my husband is a pastor, and so our church actually isn't that busy this time of year, but with 4 kids and just a good community of people here, we do have a lot of things going on. So in the next few weeks we have birthday parties, a couple different Christmas parties, our kids have Christmas parties, we have a church staff Christmas party. So anyway, there's just a lot going on. So that's not really why I didn't post or film at all in November. We've just been through a really tough time. It was hard on our family. It wasn't about our family, but some external circumstances just really escalated and kind of imploded this last month in a way that was very painful for me, for my husband, even for our kids to a degree. And I've shared before, I don't even know which episode it might be, but stitching has always been, since I've been stitching, a way to kind of, I'll say escape. Obviously it's not always healthy to try to escape, but if I'm gonna escape from reality, I'd rather do it by stitching than by like playing a dumb game on my phone. That's actually what got me back into stitching. Was 5 years ago, a really difficult thing was going on, and it was a very long-term stress that was ongoing, and I found myself just zoning out on like Candy Crush. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like this is not helping me at all. And so I decided to try cross stitching again, and here I am. So stitching was very much in November a form of therapy for me, in addition to actual therapy, which is also helpful and I also encourage. I finished 4 things. I only worked on 4 things up until like the last couple days, and I finished 4 things. So pros and cons to a very hard month. But I am grateful for stitching, and I really am grateful. That's what I want to say. Is there's so many ways I could spend my time, and this one is just so therapeutic for me. So I'm excited to share what a month of depression stitching has done for me, what I was able to accomplish. I also have 1 FFO. Could have been more. I'll share why there wasn't as well. Just a little injury report. I have I'll say 1 new start. 2 of my finishes were also starts, so technically 3. I have a couple of whips, and then I am doing a plan for the month of December. I was gonna do 12 starts. I didn't want to start 12 things, so it's a combination of starts, Christmas related starts, as well as putting a couple days in on my oldest whips in an attempt to kind of get myself back in the groove, in hopes that in the new year I can focus on finishing my oldest whips. So anyway, yeah, lots to share. That's another good thing about going a whole month between videos. I have been using, I think it was last video I talked about the Stitchery template from Notion, where you can, I bought it. It was $9, and there's a whole tutorial on YouTube you could go watch if you wanted to see if it was something that you would find helpful. I'm loving it because Notion if you're not familiar, it has so many options. I'll give you an example, and this is how I'm going to show you the models of things that I'm referring to, because my computer does not do well with video editing. I could do it on my phone, I could add in little images, but I only have so much time, and this is just as good. At least it's almost as good for much less work. So anyway, this is it on my Kindle, which is not like the ideal way to view it. Come on, really? It just completely shut off. Hold on. What in the world? But the great thing about Notion is that you can add in pictures. And so these are all of the things I'll be talking about today, and I can like zoom in and show you. And then there's just all this information you can add. So some of it is a lot because it's like for formulas to calculate how much you've stitched, but basically you can't really see, but it has all this information. It has all the floss I'm using, which floss tubes I mentioned it in. Anyway, if you're a data nerd, if you like spreadsheets, I highly recommend this. But this is how I'm going to show you the models for the ones that I don't have an easy way to show you, or some of them I just have a working copy in with me and I just don't feel like going through and finding the actual pattern. So that's what I'm going to use for that. But let's get started. First, now I can have stats because I'm also tracking my stitching now. I stitched 14,592 stitches in November, which averages out to be about 500 stitches a day, which I'm pretty sure from the times I've tracked my stitches before is more than I have usually done. The other great thing, okay, I can also pull up all of my fabric so I don't forget. One day I stitched 936 stitches, and that was my top stitching day. So almost 1,000 stitches. Probably it was a Friday because I usually have extended time on Fridays, but yeah, 500 stitches a day. I'm not upset about that. That's a great amount. Probably why I was able to get so much done. So my first finish is or FFO, I should say. My only FFO is from a finish I did last Christmas. I realized as I was planning what I wanted to stitch for Christmas this year that I don't have very many Christmas stitches. I have one downstairs in our bathroom that I replace, like I switch it out. And then I have this tiny little kind of ornament I made last year. But this is my only, this was the only other Christmas thing I've done. And it is from Tiny Modernist, Scandi Christmas sampler. So I think it comes with more than one pattern. I think it's just called Scandi Christmas, like Scandinavian Christmas. But this was the big piece, and there's some smaller pieces in the pattern. And listen, guys, this is not the best finish I've ever done. It is not 100% even. It is a little bit too loose. I'm not gonna lie, I pinned it and then I just super glued the fabric to the mat board, which is like not the best way to finish something. And I know that, and I knew it as I was doing it, and yet I still chose to do it. It's not perfect, but I was at Hobby Lobby a month or two ago and saw this board, and it was on sale, this tag sold on it for $3.24. And I was like, huh, that's cheap. So I kind of want to get it. I could finish something on it. And then I remembered this, and I was like, well, that's not big enough to put, like, it's too big. The board is too big for this piece. But then I thought, man, what if I could use it to hold Christmas cards? I don't know. It was inspiration. So that's what I did. The back of this, like, it was a white frame, and then this was like raw wood looking. So I painted the whole thing white. I put this on a mat board with a little bit of batting, super glued the fabric to the back of the mat board. Listen, guys, it's all about what you're okay with, and I was okay with this. From far away, you literally cannot tell, and no one's really looking closely at the edges. So then I just super glued this clip, and then these are some of the Christmas cards we've gotten so far. And I love it. You know what? I love it. Even if it doesn't look great, I love it. And it's hanging downstairs right in our walkway where you walk in our front hallway. And I'm just so happy to have it done. I painted the board, which took like a day, to just do a couple coats. And then it was just sitting on my desk with the paint out and everything for a couple of days. And I just had to kind of push myself to get the piece on the board. And I finally did it, and I'm really happy about that. That is also on 32 count raw natural linen. So that brings me into my next topic, which is my finishes, but also why I didn't finish more, because my plan was to finish that. I had all the stuff out for finishing, my mat board, everything. And I have another finish I'm about to show you. And I thought, you know what? I can finish that too. It's gonna be the same type deal. And I finished this Christmas one. I pulled out the mat board, measured, got everything I needed to cut the mat board for the second thing I was gonna fully finish. And I literally almost sliced off my finger. Here's a PSA for being smarter than I was with sharp objects. I have this X-Acto knife, and I've had it for a couple years. And I would kind of felt like it was not working great. And I finally was like, you know, okay, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to figure out what's wrong with it. Well, the blade is replaceable, and the blade was just not tight. And so whenever you added pressure to it, it would kind of like flip back diagonally. But I was able to cut the Christmas board. It was fine. So I just need to be careful. I tried to mess with it. I couldn't get it tight. And I thought, you know what? I need to like I need to order a new one or whatever. But of course, again, I'm in this like finishing marathon. This is going to be great. And because when you pushed down on it, it would make the whole thing jerk. I had one hand on my ruler and on the mat board, and I'm like gonna pull the knife back to cut the mat board, and I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention. I think it was just because the knife was just not stable. I cut over the ruler right onto my finger. So today's the first day that I have been able to not have something on my finger, because for the first 36 hours, it was bleeding if I didn't have a butterfly clip on it. It's not super gross now, but you can see I basically cut this big half moon right there, and it still looks pretty gnarly. It was bleeding a lot. I was debating whether to go to like urgent care or whatever, but one of my best friends is a nurse, and she gave me some things like, if you can't get to stop bleeding, or if you can't, you know, then you need to go. But thankfully I was able to deal with it at home. But I threw away the X-Acto knife immediately because I didn't even have any other blades. And I was like, this thing is crap. Threw that in the trash, put everything away, was like, I'm done with this for today. So I ordered a new knife that had much better reviews, and I will eventually finish it. But here's what I was trying to finish when everything went awry. It is Haunted Mansion. I started this back in September for my 4-year-old. He wanted his own cross-stitch piece, which he didn't have yet. Oh, hold on. I bought this out to hold stuff up. This is also by Tiny Modernist, actually. I didn't even think about that. This is on 36 count pearl gray linen. And oh my gosh, guys, look how cute it is. Look at the little characters. He loves it. He's so excited to have it. This is pretty much, I think it's all the called for. I just like marathoned through this. I worked on this every day for probably 2 weeks until I finished it. And I'm really happy with it. So what I was going to do with it was somewhat similar to the Christmas thing. I got this, I think I got this because like all the stuff was half off the day I went, but this big board, the piece will take up like a good bit of it. And I was gonna try to look for some like wood cutouts of like pumpkins or something, but ultimately I decided to just get letters to make his name. So our 4-year-old's name is Noah. So I'm not gonna put him that close. I want to put him more in the middle, but I painted, these were just raw wood from Hobby Lobby. I painted them black, and eventually I will glue those on as well. So when I get my new knife, I will finish that project. That was finish number 1. So my second finish was also something I already started before November, This is a free pattern from Al Forest Embroidery. Let me find the, it's also on 32 count raw linen. I just kind of picked my own colors. Here, let me show you the, let's see how well you can see. This is the model. So they use some kind of fuzzy business here on the fox. I don't know what that is. And if you're familiar with Al Forest, you know that their threads are super variegated, and I basically split the difference. They called for 5 colors. I used 6. So I had an orange, I had a white, I had this kind of purplish black color, and then I had this reddish pinkish color on the flowers. But they had one other color that I turned into 2 that was kind of a greenish yellow. So as you can see, I just did some yellow and some green wherever it kind of made sense. To be honest, I don't love my color conversion on this. I don't know what I wish I would have done differently. Maybe I wish I would have just used one color for all the leaves instead of splitting it into the yellowish and the green. I think it might have looked okay with just the green. But I also feel like there's not enough contrast. Like, I feel like I should have picked something a little bit lighter. Maybe for like the red, I should have picked a lighter pink. I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy with it. It's fine. It's fine. And I just need to get like a hoop. I have a spring version of this with rabbits that they did, another free one. And it's in like a white painted hoop in my dopamine den. So I'm excited to get that one in and hang it up in the fall. I lost my Kindle keeps turning off and I can't find it. Okay. Okay, so that was finish number 2. Finish number 3. This was the third thing I was going to finish before I cut my finger. This is Harvest Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. This is on 32 count vintage country mocha. Without thinking about it, I stitched on the non-modeled side. Here's the modeled side. This is just the plain side. I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't even consider it. I just did it. So whatever, it's fine. I am happy with this one as well. Some of the colors are the called for fancy floss, and some were just more conversions that I just approximated. But this was just a really, again, very therapeutic, just work on a house, finish a house, move on. I really, really enjoyed this one. And I didn't finish it in time to actually hang it up in the fall. But once I get my new knife, I will put it on a board, and I have a board downstairs where I can switch out my tiny towns. So I'll be glad to add that to the lineup. My 4th finish of November was another airmail from Lindy Stitches. So this is Airmail November, the Oscillated Turkey. I don't know what order she put this one out. This one came out last year, I think. But I'm working through these. I have 3 left. And one of them hasn't been released yet. But I'm really happy to have him done. He's on 32 count silver moon linen, just like all of them. And this is all the called for. I think I got the floss back for this one. Or I might have had some and I just filled it in. But I've been using all of her called for fancy flosses, partly because I just love her designs and I like them because of how they look in the model, and so I want mine to look similar. But also it's allowed me to build up my fancy floss collection because they don't use a lot of floss because they're not that big, so I have a lot left and I can use it for other stuff. So that's been how I've handled those. Okay, those are my 4 finishes. I also have a start, and it's gonna look kind of familiar. It's a Christmas tiny town. And once again, I stitched it on the wrong, it's not the wrong side, but I just didn't even think about it. I just stitched it on the non-modeled side. And the other ones I've done before these were on just like a raw natural that wasn't modeled anyway. So they look more alike anyway. This one, I am really loving this Christmas one. This tree, it's just, I just love it so much. The candy canes, I love it. There's some other fun stuff. I'm trying to see in the picture. Here, I'll show you. There's a house that has joy on it. There's a reindeer sticking out from one of the houses. There's these fun little like pennants that you get to stitch with some back stitching. So maybe I'll finish this one in time to hang it up. I don't know. But that leads me to my Christmas plans. Or December plans. Again, I thought I would do 12 starts, and that's just too much, especially because I am more of a semi-monogamous stitcher a lot of the time. So I found 7 Christmas patterns that I either had or I actually just bought a few new ones. And then I found 5 older whips that I really want to finish soon. They're my 5 oldest whips. All of them I started in 2023, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to show you the 3 that I have already worked on, and then I'll show you all the Christmas ones that I haven't even started yet, as well as tell you all the ones on my list. So what I've been doing is I put them all into a Tiny Decisions wheel, which is just an app I have on my phone. And every day I'm doing a different one. So I have had some repeats. Christmas Tiny Town, I started on the 29th of November, and I've already worked on it 3 different days. I pulled it. I did also in the first few days of December, got another older whip twice. And I realized, you know what, if I keep getting all these old whips and I just let it keep picking and it picks the same one, I'm not going to get to all the Christmas ones. So I've decided to limit my old whips to just 2 stitching days, because that'll make 10 days of old whips, and it'll end up being 33 days of total stitching. I do want to start all the Christmas ones, so I'm going to make sure that I can start them all, but also put a little bit of time in. So I've already pulled 3 old whips in the first 8 days that I've been doing this. So I'm going to show you those now, and then I'll show you all the other Christmas ones. And I'm going to pull up the originals. So the first one is Space Robot Walker by Awesome Pattern Studios. This I started early 2023, and it is on just a 16 count Aida. This is my last Aida project. I'm only like 55% of the way done, which feels crazy, but it's essentially full coverage. This is the far side and this is the top. The problem is I'm not enjoying this very much anymore. I think just because it's old, and there's so many stitches left in this color. It's 3750, and I've only, I think 1 or 2 colors I've finished, but there's still probably 12 colors left, and most of them have 1,000 stitches or left. But this blue color, there's still like 4,000 stitches of just this color. And I'm just tired of it. So I've been doing a couple strands of that, and then I'll switch to another color, switch back to the blue in an attempt to slowly whittle away at it. Looking at how many stitches I have left, I think it's about 10,000, and thinking, you know, I do 500 stitches a day on average. I could finish it in less than a month. I could finish it in like 3 straight weeks if that's all I worked on, but this is just really tedious. So I think I'm just gonna keep picking a few days a month to work on this and just keep whittling away. I do want to finish it. I've put so much time into it so far, and I think it's gonna look great hanging in my dopamine den, because this is essentially the color of my wall in there. So I'm thinking like a white frame would be really pretty. It'll make it pop on my dark wall. So I do want to finish it. It's just, I pulled it for 2 days already, and now I'm going to put it away until 2025. Another thing I pulled for 1 day so far was my temperature chart. Oh, I was going to show you the whole picture. So this was a free pattern by Snarky and Modern Embroidery. Please ignore my dog. He is outside. He would like to come in, and my husband is here, and we'll hopefully let him in eventually. This is a temperature chart. I'm doing it for the year 2020. I can't zoom in anymore. I'll put it a little closer. But yeah, I don't know what percentage I'm through on this one. Actually, I can tell you, because that's another cool thing about the Notion thing, is if you can count how many stitches there are, and this was easy. I mean, most things that aren't in Pattern Keeper, obviously counting the stitches would be very difficult unless they just told you how many or it was like a full coverage, but this has the same number of stitches in every row. So it was easy to count how many there were. So there's a total of like 11,000 and I'm about 9,000 in. So I've only got about 1,900 stitches left according to my calculations. I'm into October, I think. And yeah, this one is also kind of tedious. Again, I want to finish it and I want to get it up on the wall, but it's just not like the most exciting pattern. And I probably will never do one like this again because I'm just not enjoying it. But again, the Space Robot, I think I have 10,000 stitches. 2,000, that's doable. That's just a couple of good days of stitching and that one will be done. And that was on 32 count Icelandic gray from linen. Okay, let me find the raccoon. Okay, whoops, I lost him. Where'd he go? Okay, my last whip that I just worked on this yesterday is the raccoon by Cottage Garden Samplings that I'm stitching on the same piece as the other spring pattern. So I've already done the jackrabbit. Let me pull this over. And there's the raccoon. As you can see, I've got his whole tail done. I'm working on his body. This is the full piece. This is one I actually really enjoy working on. I was happy to pull it and to pull it back out. And I know that I'll be so happy to finish it. Whenever I pull it out and I see the jackrabbit, it's like an instant dopamine hit all over again because I just love him. I mean, yeah, it was a little tedious working on all the little parts there, but I just love it. And this is a mystery linen. I think that someone sent this to me. And because I knew that I was going to do the spring ones, as soon as I saw it, I thought that'll be perfect for the spring patterns for the Year in the Woods. So the ferret will go over here. And I'm hoping I can do that one in 2025. I did just want to show you because I take any excuse to pull this out if you are new here, and I don't even remember the last time that I showed it, but I've already finished the winter ones. Because it's winter, I thought I'll show you again. This is the winter Year in the Woods. I think this is probably one of my top 3 favorite things I've ever stitched. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. So the reindeer, the fox, and the swans. Once I get spring done, I think that I will want to get them both framed and kind of figure out, what I want to do with them. But I'm really excited to have the spring one done, and I just love these so much. So those were the whips that I've worked on as part of my Christmas plans. So now I will share the 12 things that I'm kind of rotating between for Christmas, or for December. So I've already shown you Space Robot Walker, the raccoon, the temperature chart, and Christmas Tiny Town. So those are the 4 I've already shown you. Another whip that I want to work on for 2 days is Pandemic by Sarcy Girl. I've shown you guys this in the last, maybe my 2 videos ago. I've spent a lot of time on this fall. Another big project, my biggest project, but I'm making headway. I'm almost done with the border. So hopefully when I pull it this month, I can finish up the border. That'll be a good feeling. Another just regular whip that I'm going to try to work on is another Owl Forest, Northern Land. I started this on my birthday in March 2023. I'm only like 20-something% in on this. So, I mean, I won't be anywhere near close to finishing, but I'll be, again, glad to work on that. And I think especially once I finish the other ones, like this one will probably be the last of the 4 or the 5 whips that I finish, just because it's the one I'm farthest I have the most to do. And I'd rather kind of get some momentum and finish up some of the other ones first, but I still think I can finish it this year if I just put some time into it. So those are all of the non-Christmas whips. So now I'm going to show you the other Christmas ones I'm going to work on. Okay, this one's going to be hard to zoom in on because it's so long, but this is a Lindy Stitches, this manatee, and I'll show you the one underneath in a second, but I just bought this one this year. I've been eyeing this for a long time, and when I still thought I would do 12 starts, I knew this was going to be one of them. So I already had some fabric. Ooh, fabric. Let me pull out these are my Christmas, here we go. I already had some fabric. I actually just got this at Hobby Lobby. It's just it's like a silvery color. It's not exactly the same as the pattern, but it's close. And then I did order, or maybe I already had. I had some of the called for, and so I just decided to fill in. Like, I didn't want to place a whole order. Sorry, my thread is all tangled. Here's the threads. The manatees are, one is kind of this gray and one is the brown. They're some fancy floss. So that one, growing up, I still love manatees. I was homeschooled until almost through 7th grade, and my mom was this is before there were all these like co-ops and things, so most of our stuff was just at home. And I still have it somewhere, I think, but one of my assignments as probably like a 9 or 10-year-old was to write a book, and we like made a cover for it and like laced it together, and my book was about manatees. So as soon as I saw that Lindy Stitches pattern, I was like, this pattern has to come, one day in my life I will do it, and this is the year I'm going to start it. I don't know that I'll finish it, but I'm going to start it. Anyway, another one I'm going to do, or start at least, is this one. I keep calling it just Peanuts, but it's actually called Hark the Herald Angels Sing. It's by, on Etsy. The designer is Tabasco Sunrise. My mom loves Peanuts, and so I just have a lot of nostalgia. She has a whole like set of all the little people that she puts out at Christmas, including the tree. And I'm going to try doing this. This is going to be interesting. Here we go. I had this fabric. I got it super, super cheap at Hobby Lobby. It's a 25 count steel blue color. And I'm going to try doing it 1/1. I didn't have enough to do it 1/2. And I'd see now that I remember, I decided to experiment and see if I would do it it's going to be over 1, but I was trying to decide if I should do it half stitch, like a tent stitch, or a full stitch, or if I should do 2 strands, tent stitch. It's not full coverage, obviously, but just stitching over 1, I know there's like different options for how to do it. So it looks like, I probably should have written it down, but it looks like I did 1/1 full cross. And I apparently liked the way that looked because I left it in. So that's what I'm going to do. This one's got lots of fun colors. I think it's just all DMC. I mean, it called for DMC, and I think I didn't try to convert any of it, but look at those fun colors. I'll try to show you what I did. It's it's like 4 stitches right in the middle. So that's all I did, but I like the way that it looks. So that one, again, probably won't finish, but I'm still excited to start it because I just don't have a lot of Christmas stitches, and even if I don't finish all these this year, I can at least start them. Along the same lines, another one I'm going to use on the same fabric is The Joy of Winter by Lana. Guys, my Kindle, what is happening? I think that my Kindle, it like closes with like a magnet, and my watch, I think, because it has a magnet on it, sometimes I bump it. Lana Lenskaya. Okay, anyway, this is a free pattern, and I think you have to go to her Instagram. But it is free. I'm gonna try to do it slowly. I don't know why it keeps turning off. Okay, there we go. You can see it's on a neutral color fabric. This is the best picture I could find. But I'm gonna do it on that same blue as the Peanuts one. And I'm just gonna convert, there is a blue on there, but I just found a darker blue that I think will show up pretty well. And all the other colors are like greens and reds and stuff. So it won't look just like that, but I was trying to see what I could do with the fabric I already had. I am a pretty frugal stitcher, and I usually don't order fabric unless I have a plan for it. So unless I ordered something that was too big and there was some left over, I don't order fabric just like to order it. That I just had, like I said, it was like clearance at Hobby Lobby, and so frugal me couldn't pass up a sale. But those are those two. Okay, let's go back, and I've got a few more Christmas ones I'm gonna do. Okay, so that was the Joy of Winter. Okay, yeah, so I'm excited about this one. I actually pulled this one for today, and so I'm really excited to start this one. Hopefully it doesn't turn off. This is the next Airmail December. She just came out with these Lindy stitches in the last month. She came out with December and January. I immediately ordered them both along with any of the floss that I was missing. I'm gonna do this one on 32 count Silver Moon, just like the rest. And I love cardinals so much. Probably my favorite bird. And I love that this is like a female cardinal. It's not the male. So it does have some good red on it, but it's not the male. And I appreciate that. By no means am I some like ardent feminist, but I love when it's a little bit different, you know? And I always feel bad kind of for the female cardinals, because they don't get to, they don't have the bright red, you know? And I know why, like it helps them camouflage and protect their kids better, but there's some kind of metaphor there for all of us women, especially if you're a mom, that feels really relatable to the mother cardinal. So I'm excited about this. I do think and hope I can finish this one, because I want to finish all the Airmail ASAP, and they really aren't that bad. I think I counted the stitches on the turkey, and it might not have been perfect, but a pretty good approximation, and it was only a couple thousand. So it's really not that many. Okay, two more. This is not a good picture. It's a little blurry, but this is Waiting for Santa by Country Cottage Needleworks. I got this one last year. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. I think last year or the year before. And my plan is, because I have 4 kids, there's kids, it's hard to see, but there's kids in the top, and there's like a dog and then a tray of like milk and cookies. So I'm going to I have 3 boys and a girl. I'm going to put 2 boys in the downstairs, and make it have all 4 kids. Just copy the upstairs boy and change up the coloring. So that one I have not started. And that will also be on Vintage Country Mocha, just like my Tiny Towns. All right, last Christmas one is, and last one of all of them, is Santa's House by Cottage Garden Samplings. I know that Jen's Fiberweb just talked about this one recently, and I've only done one of the houses, but I'm excited to start this one. I'm most excited about this one. If I had to pick, I would love to finish Airmail, Christmas Tiny Town, and this one this month, and just get a start on all the other ones. I haven't counted stitches, and I don't even know if that's like feasible, but we'll see. I'm probably not going to count the total stitches in this one before I do it, because it would be painful. But what I've done on a couple others, because I do find it interesting to track my stitches, is track the stitches. The nice thing about Notion is it doesn't care what I do. So I can just put in how many stitches I do every day, and it totals them up. And so then when I'm done, I'll know how many total stitches there were. I can put it in, and then it'll say, 100% complete. So I won't have any sense of the percentage until I'm during the process, but ultimately I'll have all the information, and that is what really matters to me. So, wow, yeah, I've got a big mess here on the bed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, look, I just found a needle on my bed. Okay. That is everything I have. Given the craziness of this month, I don't know that I will post again. Like I said, we have a couple really busy weeks, and then of course the kids will be out of school. Our Christmas plans are to stay here. On Christmas, we'll be here through Christmas. And we really love being home Christmas morning. We have some traditions we do with the kids, and it just makes for so much of a less stressful day. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law live together, and they live just around the corner. The window here looks out into our backyard, and I can actually see my mother-in-law's house from our backyard. So right around the corner, and they'll come down, of course, and then the day after Christmas, we will head to Columbia, South Carolina, where my family lives. My parents are there, and one of my sisters, and we will have family Christmas with them. I have another sister who lives in Ohio, but she will be there the weekend before Christmas, and we're just not going to make it back in time for that. And so I'm sad that I won't get to see her this Christmas, but anyway, I'm excited to get to see the rest of my family and have some time off. We live in South Georgia. We're not far from the coast, so it doesn't get super cold here. And when it does get cold, it's not cold for long. We were wearing like warm clothes up until like mid-November. My husband is a big gardener, and so he keeps track of like frost and all this stuff. And in our zone, if you know about gardening, the average first freeze date, which is how they determine which zone you're in, is usually November 15th. So usually around November 15th is the first time it freezes. Well, it didn't freeze here until November 30th. So it was a very long, extended, not cold season. So that was just a week ago. And it has been, I don't know that it's really been below freezing, but I have to take my oldest son to school, well, to where his bus picks him up at 6:30. And so this is the first week where I've had to go out and turn the car on to get the ice off the windshield a few minutes before we leave. So that has been not my favorite, but I also know that it's not that bad. Like we don't get snow, and it really isn't even that cold. And by the time the sun comes up, it's like not cold really at all. So this is our winter. It usually lasts about a month. But I'll be glad over the Christmas break for a little break from the early morning cold, and to get a little extra sleep. But I'm enjoying having all this Christmas stitching is kind of helping me get in the mood. So thank you for watching. I love getting to share what I'm working on, and I love hearing from you. So please tell me, are you working on any of this stuff? What are your Christmas plans? Let me know Christmas patterns maybe I haven't seen. I'll add them to my list for next year. If you have any questions about the Notion Stitchery template, I'd love to tell you why I love it. And again, there's a whole tutorial on YouTube that you can watch to kind of see how it works. It has Michelle of Bendy Stitches. She didn't make it. I can't remember the name of the person that made it. But the person that made it has Michelle from Bendy Stitches on the tutorial, and she's basically showing Michelle how to set it up. And it's long. It's very long. But I'm really enjoying it for keeping track of stuff and getting to see what I've worked on. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, because I probably won't see you before. And my next video, I hope to be back with what I've managed to do this month, and also talk about plans for next year, and maybe do a finish parade or a whip parade. Probably just, I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure that out in the next few weeks, but I hope you have a great December, that you enjoy whatever your family or you are up to this time of year, and I will see you next time.